Hello my YouTube friends. As a live streamer, you have so many options. So many. But if you stream on an old PC or a laptop, you may really struggle to put together a good stream. Doing live streams with a guest can also be somewhat of a hassle if that's the main focus of your stream. Browser-based streaming tools solve this problem. They use very little computing power and make it super easy to add guests to your live streams. They also have a much more optimized UI for these types of streams to make it easy to stream with a laptop. The best part is there are a lot of options. You have StreamYard, Restream, Streamlabs Talk Studio, formerly Melon, and EVMux. But which one is the best for you? Well, I'm gonna break them down today and help you decide. So you know what? Let's get to it! All the browser-based streaming tools I'm going to show you today have some things in common. They're all easy to run on any PC or Mac because they run through your web browser. They also all offer easy ways to add guests to your live stream. And they offer a free tier of service so you don't have to pay if you don't want to. So I'm going to talk about the unique features of each and then cover the pros and cons for each at the end of this video and let you know which one does what best, so you can decide easily what's best for the stream that you're trying to put together. Now there is a link to each one of these in the description below so you can check them out for yourself. And like I said, you can freely try these out. They don't cost anything up front. Let's take a look at StreamYard. I already have an account, so I'm just gonna go ahead and log into that. Now StreamYard has all kinds of different destinations that you can stream to. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and you can stream to a custom RTMP. And you can see here that if you want 1080, you have to upgrade. And they offer touch-up features. Not going to make this look any better. They have virtual background features, which will remove your background. Works okay. You can set up some hotkeys, and all of these hotkeys can then be controlled from the Stream Deck. And of course you can record, but recording requires an upgrade. So then you just add yourself to the stream and boom, you invite guests here. You just copy that and send it to anyone that you like. Then your guests will show up down here. You can use these to organize how your guests show up. We can use the themes to change the way that we show up down here in the bottom left. You can also uncheck display names. You can add headlines, and there we go. And so when you select the different ways, that's how those are going to show up. Here we have our comments that can be selected. So your chat's going to go right in here, and then you can just add your chat down there like that. You can create a banner that you can put on your screen. Very simple. This is a ticker banner. Shows up at the bottom, just scrolls across like that. Then there's just a simple banner like that. And of course you can create any ones that you want. Here is where you can customize things. You can remove their logo and put yours in there by upgrading. Then you can add overlays. Now you can add your own overlays if you upgrade as well. You also have access to a couple of videos here. And then they have a selection of background music. And then you can have a private chat session with any of your guests that you don't have on screen. Now Restream has a lot of different features and that sort of stuff. So you can edit destinations, you can add whatever you want. So we have YouTube, but we can add more. And you can see Kick, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram. You can add any one of these locations that you can live stream on, and there is a very large selection. And the best part is that you can stream to multiple destinations at the same time if you choose to. Now events right here would be scheduled things that you have going on, so you can create an event, and we can use Restream Studio, we can use the RTMP, and actually use OBS or Zoom or whatever you want, or you can do a video file. It's very easy to set these up, or we could just go right in here and go to Stream with Studio, and it'll bring us right into the studio. And then once again, we do have the virtual background, so you can change your background now. You can upload your own, or you can just blur the background that you have. And then of course you've got your hotkeys you could set up in here as well. So you can have different folders set up, all that kind of stuff. It has the same thing. You can add this on your screen. You can do tickers that will scroll along the bottom. They have music selections that you can add to your live stream, which I think is a pretty cool feature. And obviously none of these things are going to get you banned or anything like that. You've got your chat features, same as you had in StreamYard. And then you've got all kinds of design features as well. So you can add video clips, there's countdown stuff, and of course some of these you have to upgrade to use. Now you have backgrounds, so if I were to hide myself, you can see what these backgrounds look like. And you can of course create overlays and all that sort of stuff. Simple to add guests, same here. You just copy this out, send it to your friends. Just like all of these, you can click the plus here and add screens. So we could do a presentation, we can share local video, or you can add another camera. So we can add another camera on here, and if we just add this on, there we go. So now we've got multiple cameras. We can decide on different layouts for those cameras. This is where that background comes in. So there we go. We can add the background in here. We can also click here and share a screen. So we can go and decide to share the entire screen like this one. If we have audio there, we can share that as well. So you could use this for potentially video games or something like that. We can add it like that. So now, and you can take these and drag and drop them anywhere you want at any time, and it will swap them. So very, very cool. Very simple to use. You can also use portrait orientation. So if you're streaming to something that uses portrait, like TikTok, you have access to all that stuff. And of course, I have 3 of my screens. I have 2 cameras in my desktop, but these can be guests or whatever you want. So I think this takes what StreamYard does and really builds on it to add a lot more features. And of course, with either of these, you can stream to multiple locations. This is Streamlabs Talk Studio, and it's really easy to get into. It has basically all the same kind of features that you saw in the other ones. You can go ahead and add your guests up here. By clicking add guests, it brings up a link where you can share it out with anybody. Your guests are going to appear over here, and then you just click on them to add them into each scene. Now what I kind of like about Talk Studio is it has these little stars here, so you have a pretty good idea of what items are paid for and what aren't. So we can add our names right here. Now all the coloring and stuff you can change. Right now we're using that theme, but we can use a different one. So it changes everything up, and you have your different styles and all that sort of stuff. Right here you've got your chat, so if anyone talks in chat, you can select it. It will show up on screen just like the other ones. You can schedule a broadcast. We can go into design and select other things. You've got overlays and backgrounds and all that sort of stuff. You can also add text. So you can add a ticker just like that, or you can add text just like that, so lower thirds, all that stuff, you can add them super easy. You can actually add teleprompter. That's kind of cool. Right here we go into video. You see they provide you with some. You can set it as an intro or an outro. You see what it looks like when we play it, and there's a whole bunch of different videos and stuff that you could select from, or you can upload your own, and you can use a virtual background, and you just select which one you want and go ahead and click here, and there you go, and it works. could blur it out, our regular background, turn it off. We can go into settings and turn on names, that sort of stuff. Pretty much the same basic fare that you had on all the other ones. There are widgets that you can add here, so you can add stream notifications, and you can use CloudBot and socials, any of the other Streamlabs type stuff, which I think is pretty cool. So you can't share your screen without upgrading to the Pro plan. You can't add a camera without upgrading to the Pro plan. So a lot of the features that are available in Restream for nothing are locked behind the paywall here in Talk Studio. So this is EVMux. You've got your video set up, your audio. You can set your hotkeys. You can do a virtual background as well in EVMux. And there we go. Works about the same as all the other ones. Also has all the blur and everything else. We can enter the studio. So here you can set up pro scenes. So just like in OBS, you can set up scenes and do all that sort of stuff. You can even have transitions in between the scenes. So we can have a countdown set up. Then we can have a scene like this with our own bespoke assets, and we can move to different scenes. So we can have something else in the background here labeled as B. So it could be another YouTuber, or it could be pretty much whatever we want. This could be a tutorial or something that's back here in B. So this would normally be a screen share. There we go. And you could move this stuff anywhere you want on the screen. You can set up open, close scenes, that sort of stuff, and you can add as many as you want, which makes this really cool. You've got a bunch of layers that you set up just like in OBS. And then we've got music, so you can use music that they already have in here as well. Comments works the same way as everything else. Your chat's going to go here. You can select a comment to add it. We can add and create banners. They work just like they would on all the other stuff. You can invite guests right here. You can add a camera right here, but you need to upgrade for an extra camera. It does have a dark and a light mode, which I really like. You can select your broadcast channels right here, and there are lots to choose from. So if we wanted to add something to this, we can go ahead and add a layer, and you'll notice something that we didn't really see on any of the other ones, which is the ability to add a web source, which is really nice because that means that you can use browser sources for alerts and that sort of stuff. So you can add alerts to EVMux. You can also add widgets. They have a whole bunch of different widgets in here that are available, like the wheel and that sort of stuff, which I think is just awesome. You can add media files, so you can add video and that sort of stuff. As you can see, I added a video here. You can upload your own. You can add text. You can also capture speakers, screen shares, media shares, so it allows you to control more of your audio. Now, before I get into the pros and cons, I want to talk about one thing that I know there's probably people in my audience asking. Mike, why would you pay for these things when you can get software like OBS that's totally free and does more? Well, there's a couple of reasons why I think it's really important to understand why you might want to pay for something like this. For one, if you're adding guests to your live stream, there is no easier or more professional way to do it than one of these 4 pieces of software. Hands down, it's not easy to do on OBS or Prism or any other studio that you install on your computer. So if you want to add guests, you want it to be reliable and work every time and look good, one of these 4 options is likely for you. The second reason why you would want to get software like this is because if you are operating a business and you have to set up a live stream that has to work because it's for clients or for anything else, then using one of these is the best way to go. You can't contact OBS to have them solve your problems or tell you why your live stream didn't work, but each one of these you physically pay for every single month. And that comes with the responsibility of troubleshooting it and guaranteeing that your streams are going to be of a specific quality. And as a business, when you're doing something for business, it's worth paying to have somebody else's butt on the line if something goes wrong, and being able to call them on the phone and say, hey, this didn't work and they should be doing something about it. That's what customer service is about when you pay for a product. So from a business perspective, using one of these 4 tools probably makes the most sense, rather than spending hours and hours and hours building a live stream in something like OBS, where if something goes wrong, well, there's no one to blame but you. When something goes wrong with this, there's someone to blame. And that's why businesses use these. And that's why if you're a professional live streamer or you're a professional YouTuber, you may want to use these as well, because you can get guaranteed results. And if the results aren't what you expect, there's always someone to talk to about. Now let's go over the pros and cons of each software, and then I'm going to give you my breakdown. StreamYard is by far the simplest one. A lot of the features that you find on all of these were kind of pioneered with StreamYard. Probably the most popular, but it's also, in my opinion, the most basic one. And that would be the big con. There are just not as many features in StreamYard as you're going to see in the other ones. However, pricing is pretty much standard across the board for StreamYard. You can remove that watermark for 20 bucks a month. Now for Streamlabs Talk Studio, it is the cheapest of the bunch, which is a big pro. You can actually use it for $9 a month in 720 with no logos or any of that sort of stuff. And it is also one of only 2 of these that offer the ability to use alerts with your live stream, which is really cool. However, I do feel like it's the second most basic one of all of these when you look at it as a whole. As far as Restream goes, Restream just has so many cool features. I love the look, I love the way out, I love the way that it actually functions. I think it is the best one if you're adding guests to your live stream. It's so simple, and it's just a beautiful way that it works. Its base plan is 20 bucks and it will remove the logo, and it will also stream in 720 at the base plan, which the 3 that I've talked about already, their base plans only offer 720, which is fine for live streaming, but most people want to stream in 1080, and that's where EVMux Pros are big. You get 1080 for free. In fact, a lot of their features are really free. You can pay 25 bucks a month to remove the watermark if you like, or you can pay 50 bucks a month, get access to multiple cameras, and of course the ability to add alerts. The thing is 1080 in EVMux is totally free. The cons are that once you start to actually pay for EVMux, it's a little bit more expensive than the other 2, but it also has so many more features that are similar to what you're going to find in OBS, like multiple scenes, the ability to move your assets anywhere you want on the screen, place them however you want. You don't have specific layouts that you have to adhere to, and you can add all kinds of layers to your scene to essentially create something that's uniquely for you, but on a browser. And that's pretty amazing. And besides the pricing for EVMux, there is a little bit of a learning curve as compared to the other ones that are on this list. Streamlabs, Restream, and Talk Studio are all really, really easy to use. They're also a little more basic. EVMux, on the other hand, well, it takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's not hard to learn. The UI is really well done, and it just has so many more features that the others haven't even thought of adding. So that's kind of a price breakdown, but who are each one of these for? Well, if you're going to be live streaming on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, and you're just going to be adding guests and talking to guests, I'd definitely say that StreamYard or Talk Studio are the ones for you. They are super basic, super easy to use. And if you're just going to add guests, they're perfect. If you are planning on potentially streaming games or something like that, then really, you probably want to do 1080, and EVMux is the one for you. But if you're not a fan of the slight learning curve that you get with EVMux, I'd feel pretty comfortable streaming games using Restream. I think it's an awesome platform. It's super easy. You can easily add guests. You can easily add all of the other things that you would want to do, and the pricing structure for Restream is about the same as the pricing structure for the other two. To me, the big standout for anyone who wants to live stream using browser-based software is definitely EVMux. It just has so many things. It can be all streaming things to all people who don't want to use OBS or something like that. You have almost all the same types of features, and the way that you can set it up is really similar as well. It's far and above the most capable browser-based live streaming tool that's out there. If you want to learn more about the free applications that are going to run on your machine natively to live stream, then check this video out. And if you're always looking for tools, tips, and tricks to help make you a better live streamer or YouTuber, subscribe to the channel. My name is Michael Fire Jr. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.